Born and raised in the shadow of heroes and bonded with a giant Tulkun. If you think you know the Sully kids, wait until LOAK steps up in fire and ash. So, what will happen when a rebellious, grieving teenager becomes a leader and a warrior? LOAK's early years. LOAK Sully was born in 2156 on Pandora. He is the second son of Jake and Neytiri, the brother of neteyam and Tuktire, and the adoptive brother of Kiri. LOAK's appearance sets him apart from all except his father and siblings. He has 5 fingers and 5 toes, unlike most Na'vi, as well as eyebrows and other inherited human-like features. These differences contributed to a sense of otherness from a young age. Among his own people, he is sometimes teased as half-breed or forest boy. LOAK's early years were shaped by living in the shadow of his older brother, Neteyam. Neteyam was admired for his discipline and skill, as seen in Avatar, The High Ground. By contrast, LOAK was impulsive, curious, and reckless, always looking for ways to prove himself. In other words, a textbook younger brother, taking risks, climbing heights, exploring forbidden areas, and challenging authority, all of which earned him scoldings from Neytiri and warnings from Jake. But it also showed his courage. He trained in both Na'vi and human combat skills. In the High Ground comics, we see him practicing archery, fishing, and knife techniques like other Na'vi, while also being taught marksmanship with guns by Jake, breaking sacred Na'vi rules. One of LOAK's first major challenges came with the traditional Na'vi rite of passage, Iknimaya, which is the bonding of a Na'vi with a Banshee. Unlike his brother Neteyam, who succeeded immediately, LOAK initially failed spectacularly, suffering a rough fall. Nevertheless, he persisted and eventually tamed his Ikran. This achievement became a defining moment in his early life, shown by the necklace holding a mountain banshee claw and an armband adorned with a feather matching his banshee's color. Moments like the chaotic evacuation to High Camp in Avatar: The High Ground underline a pattern. Under pressure, LOAK often struggles with practical responsibilities, reinforcing Jake's sense that he isn't ready for more. His potential was clear, but his execution fell short. Adding to LOAK's frustration, Neteyam tended to handle such responsibilities flawlessly. Are you enjoying this breakdown? Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on more Avatar character deep dives. The Way of Water. LOAK's recklessness is evident early in Way of Water. During the RDA train raid, he rushes in to assist, abandoning his post as an aerial spotter. As Neteyam follows, both fail to spot an approaching RDA gunship. His eagerness to prove himself leads to Na'vi casualties and nearly gets big brother Neteyam killed. This early mistake shows an impulsive nature, but also a desire to step beyond his perceived limitations and assert himself as a warrior. Further proof of LOAK's impulsive nature, not that we really need it, comes shortly after, as he leads an expedition to the old battlefields of the 2154 war with Kiri, Tuk, and Spider. They come across Quaritch and his recon squad. Spider is captured during this encounter. The incident forces Jake to move the family to the Metkayina village of Awa-Atlu, starting the ocean arc of the epic story. Social exclusion weighs heavily on LOAK in Way of Water. He experienced judgment and derision from the Metkayina due to his human features and independent nature. Being called names like half-breed intensified his outsider status. This sense of isolation, however, also fosters empathy and loyalty toward other marginalized figures, including Kiri, Spider, and also Payakan, who we'll come back to shortly. A significant turning point in LOAK's story comes when he meets Tsireya of the Metkayina Reef clan. She not only catches all of his attention from first sight, but she then guides him with patience and care, teaching him the way of water, how to ride the ilu, to hold his breath underwater, to fish in the oceans, and to respect the environment. Most importantly, there may also be some romance brewing there. What do you think? Will we see LOAK and Tsireya continue to get closer in Avatar 3? LOAK's relationships with his family further illuminate his character. With Jake, his rebellious streak creates tension, compounded by constant comparisons to Neteyam. With Neytiri, LOAK shares a deep, affectionate bond. Her protectiveness occasionally clashes with his daring nature, but her unwavering love is a stabilizing influence. LOAK looks out for his mother, something we see very clearly in a deleted scene where he returns her bow to her. At Awa-Atlu, LOAK gradually proves himself. He fights Aonung after the boy mocks Kiri, but later apologizes on Jake's advice. Then, he goes hunting with Aonung and his friends to gain favor, but is tricked and stranded in dangerous waters. A large marine predator called the Akula attacks him, and this is where we meet Payakan, the outcast Tulkun who saves his life. LOAK bonds with Payakan, removes a harpoon from his fin, and learns to communicate with him. Could LOAK and Payakan's bond become the strongest human-animal alliance on Pandora? LOAK's bravery continues throughout the story. He witnesses Kiri nearly drowning at the spirit tree and helps her. Another example, when he learns of the Tulkun hunt, LOAK sneaks out to find Payakan, determined to help him, even though it means sailing straight toward the RDA and the hunting vessel. This sets the stage for the final battle. During the battle, LOAK is decisive and courageous. After being freed by Neteyam, he fights on the sea dragon, rescuing Spider, killing a human, and then escaping under cover fire from his big brother. Then the moment comes that will change his life forever. While he, Neteyam, and Spider are fleeing captivity on the sea dragon, Neteyam is shot. LOAK helps Neteyam to the shore, where he's powerless to save his brother. He has no time to grieve because the battle against Quaritch is not yet over, but the tragic loss is destined to haunt him. It was LOAK that convinced his brother to rescue Spider, and their returning to do so ultimately caused Neteyam's death. A theme to keep an eye on in Fire and Ash for sure. Back to the battle aboard the Sea Dragon. Later, when Jake is trapped in a sinking ship, LOAK refuses to leave him. With Payakan's help, he and his father escape the wreckage together. This moment once again proves LOAK's courage, but also a newfound poise under pressure. If you enjoy LOAK's story, remember to hit the like button. By the end of the movie, LOAK has transformed. He mourns his brother's loss with the rest of the family, returning Neteyam to Eywa. Will LOAK fully embrace his role as a leader among the Metkayina in the upcoming sequels? Let's get into that now. Fire and Ash and Beyond. In Avatar 3, the story will be narrated by LOAK, who is now the oldest biological Sully child. He will have to step up and take more responsibility for his siblings, especially Took. We've seen evidence of this in early clips already. In the trailers, we see LOAK scouring the wreckage of the sea dragon for Neytiri's bow. We see LOAK on top of an elu, riding through stormy seas. We see him wielding a machine gun, and we see him protecting his siblings as they escape Varang's people in the Pandoran jungles. We will no doubt get more of LOAK with the Metkayina, keeping his bond with Payakan strong, and getting closer to Soraya too. Expect to see him to step out of his father's shadow, but don't expect it to be a painless process. There's definite tension between them in the trailer, and no doubt we will see so much more that we can't even imagine yet. So, will LOAK become the hero his family and the Metkayina need? Can his bond with Payakan help him face the Ash people and protect Pandora? Will he and Soraya become Pandora's next great couple? These questions will shape the course of Avatar 3 and beyond. If you enjoyed exploring LOAK's character in depth, please don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into your favorite characters and their stories. See you in the next video.